Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, neighbors helping themselves to our hose. I shouldn't have to be here with the smoke in the air. No Karen, I won't wash your car. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Neighbors helping themselves to our hose. My husband and I live in a duplex house. Both units mirror each other. The only difference is our side is about 50 square foot bigger, so we have a third bedroom instead of two. Last year, a new couple moved in, and they are rude. They are very loud. They stomp and slam around so bad they shake our side. They have also brought their dogs over to our side of the yard to let them poop. They do clean it up, but it's gross that they bring their dog right by one of my garden patches where I'm growing food to poop when they have plenty of space on their side. They have on several occasions gone out of their way not to talk to us, and have even flat out ignored us when we are all outside. Now it seems, they are using our hose. Both sides have hookups for a hose. Since I have a few garden patches in our side of the yard, I use my hose regularly. I make sure to put it back very neatly because I'm just using a bucket we had around the hose to store it. It's one of those hoses that expands when there is water in it, and gets smaller when you drain it. Because of that, I make sure to drain it so it fits in the bucket. Anyways, Tuesday night we came home late. Not only was our hose full of water, but it wasn't even put away. My husband was livid, and immediately thought it was the neighbors. I said to him, let's just ask our landlord if he came by and used it for any reason. We saw landlord Thursday, and he said he was not here. So my husband and I are pretty sure they did help themselves. This morning I went out, and even though the hose was in the bucket, it still had water in it. So this morning after I used the hose, I drained it and locked the two ends together. I found a spout cover with lock that will be arriving tomorrow. I know this might seem minor, but we pay for water. We do our best to be conscious of the amount of water we use to keep that bill low. I can't wait to see if they complain about the cover. Small update: setting up an old phone as a camera. Hoping to catch them in the act of trying to use it as well. They are very rude, I don't blame you. When I was in high school, my dad flipped his shit when the electric bill was 2x the norm. Turns out, the neighbor plugged an extension cord into our outlet in the back. It was a townhouse with a small lawn and we basically never went out back. Dad cut the cord and the neighbor came over screaming. I share this story every time someone asks why I have a lock on my outdoor electrical outlets. I don't care how slim the chance of this happening is, especially with us having a proper lawn. I will not let it happen when I'm paying the bills. I do this in every house I rent along with outside power outlets. My dad had someone use an extension to plug into his outlet one summer while he was on an oil rig. I learned from my parents' issues. You could also just trip the GFI if your house has this. File a noise complaint with your landlord and advise them you're planting vegetables and the other tenants are allowing their dogs to poop on your lawn/near your plants and it needs to stop. We have sent videos and pictures. They talk to them, it gets better for a day, then we're back to square one. We just keep sending all relevant info to keep the receipts, if you will. Definitely offer them some of your garden produce. Tell them it's from the area where their dog poops. Ask the landlord if you can put up a cheap removable wire or plastic boundary. My thought was to string chicken wire fencing to have the backyard. Maybe an electric fence would be legal and feasible. Laughing face. We moved into our house, new construction, before the house next door was finished. Whenever a hose is turned on, you can hear the water in the pipes. One day, I heard the water in the hose while I was the only one home and went outside to see what was going on. The tile guys next door were using my house with their wet saw. I turned the water off and stood at the faucet. Dude comes over yelling at me for cutting off the water. I told him my house was now private property and he could not use my power or water and to take it up with the builder. I then had to call and complain to the builder. We had the same issues with the construction crews plugging extension cords into my outside outlets and running them next door. I was so glad when they finished the house next door. Might be time for a sprinkler head in the backyard that is motion activated. Also bring the hose inside when done so they can't hook it up to their side. These neighbors sound like the worst. I thought about it, but most mornings I am out there at 5:30 a.m. to water and weed before I start getting ready for work. Even though they are noisy and disruptive, I don't want to be, and my pre-coffee self is clumsy AF. Or just remove the tap. It's a small piece held in by one screw usually. Rosemary, marigolds, and lavender are the way to go with dealing with the dog. With the neighbors, cameras, and threaten them with police for trespass and theft. We have rosemary and lavender planted by the edge of our yard to keep the deer from eating our plants and flowers. We also have rosemary and lavender on our deck. It does not affect our dog whatsoever. Your outdoor faucet should have an indoor shutoff valve that is used in the winter to prevent freezing. Just turn it off, no more water for the neighbors. It's an inconvenience because you need to actuate another valve to use your own hose, but it fixes the problem without any confrontation. Lived in an upstairs/downstairs apartment years ago. Downstairs neighbor was a single woman. Never had issues with her. She eventually moved and a new family moved in. Mom, dad, uncle, 3 kids. Always doing laundry and dishes. We all of a sudden never had hot water. Found out we were paying for water for the whole house and gas used on water heater was on our bill. Talked to the landlord. His solution was to say we should ask to use their washer and dryer. We moved shortly after. I shouldn't have to be here with the smoke in the air. I am a paramedic for a municipal agency. We often get students from various EMS programs. For those of you that were in a cave this past week, New York was covered in smoke from Canadian wildfires. The air quality was horrible. However, we don't get days off for disasters. Same thing for students. If you are going into a profession that responds in all conditions, you are expected to do your training in all conditions. So the student came and spent 30 minutes complaining how they shouldn't have had to come in because of the air quality, etc. etc. We had HEPA air filters running in our standby room, so the air was fine. All of a sudden the air filter kicks into high gear and we start smelling smoke. WTF? Turns out the student went outside to smoke and chalked the door fully open. So the student was smoking outside in the dangerous air quality, and because they didn't want to have to not to come back and chalk the door open, subjecting us inside to the outside air. I really just don't have words. Complains about the air quality. Goes out for a ciggy. Genius. I really hope you let the people in charge of that idiot's program know about his shitty attitude and piss-poor decision-making abilities. Acting like that would have gotten me kicked out of nursing school, as we were considered to be representing the program when we were in other facilities for training. It's funny that you think the student was a man. I don't know why, but I'm getting that it was a woman. I wonder which of us has it right, not that it matters, lol. What a complete moron. I think this person is going into the wrong line of work. This line of work may not be the correct path for the student you mentioned. People are dumb and entitled. This one neighbor asked me what I was getting her for Christmas this year. 3 years ago, I was just about done with this dumb, nasty, demanding ways for always showing up at our door with our morbidly obese teen neighbor asking for food, snacks, and drinks and money because their parents are losers. They can't provide for their kids but have money for cigarettes and alcohol. I told her no more gifts. The obese one eats a lot and even told me not to throw away snacks that get stale because she eats it. Teen one then tried to burn my house down knowing we have security cameras, and then the mother begged us not to call the police. 2 days later the teen one texted me to ask for $15 because she was going out with her friends. I forwarded the text to her mother and she said I will talk to her. I don't think she did because she started sending her younger sister who I adore to ask for eggs, lettuce, cookies and milk and eggs. He should be dismissed from the class and not allowed to re-enroll for a year or two. Reminds me of an old joke about Los Angeles. Why do people in LA smoke? B/C at least there's a filter. Wow. What an idiot. Tell him he should just go home then. No Karen, I won't wash your car. Long-time lurker, not often-time a poster, so apologies if I mess anything up. This happened 3 days ago and I still don't know what Karen was thinking, but working in retail for close to 20 years I'm not shocked. Cast. Me, OP, Karen. Neighbor guy NG. Guy who own lodge, GWOL. Okay, setting it's a hot and sunny Thursday afternoon and I wrapped up work since I work very early mornings on Thursdays and get the afternoon off. I decided to wash my car since it got covered in dust from gravel roads and being surrounded by lakes the front gets covered in bugs, gross I know. So I break out my equipment power washer, foam blaster, buckets, new car soap, speaker to listen to music and little cooler with refreshments. I just finished spraying my car to spray soap on to clean when my neighbor who also was washing his Escalade waved me over. NG, hey OP, can I ask you for some help? Me, sure, what's up? NG, can you blast that dirt off the bottom for me? The missus took the car out and somehow this happened. I took a quick look, it's got some mud pretty good caked on, but not impossible to get it off. Neat, sure, this will take just a couple minutes. So I brought my pressure washer over, turned it on and started spraying the dirt off while rocking out to Nickelback. Only took about 3 maybe 4 minutes and I got it off. NG, hey, those things work great cleaning, I need to invest in one. Thanks OP. Neat, sure thing NG, happy to help. So I wrapped up and resumed my car washing while enjoying Nickelback's album Dark Horse when a dirty Lincoln stops behind my car and the lady is waving me over. Now I should explain I live at the end of the road, we don't have anything people would drive to unless you're visiting someone, and the main road is close to 8 blocks away, so yeah, not many cars drive by my house. Anyway, I walk up to the lady's car to see what she wants, maybe she's lost or can't find someone's house. Nope, I was wrong, here's the conversation. Me, yes, can I help you ma'am? Karen, yes, since you just finished, can you wash my car also? I'd like the seats and carpets cleaned as well. Me, confused for a minute, what? Karen, ugh, didn't you hear what I said? I'd like my car cleaned. I just got this and already it's got dirt and bugs on it. Me, sorry, but no, I'm not going to. But there is a couple of car washing down Main Street and I think the shops offer it too. Karen, who clearly never was told no, looks at me and goes, why would I do that? You have everything to do it here. Just do it, you washed that guy's car, now do the same for me and make sure to use wax as well. Me, no, I didn't wash his car, I just quickly helped him get the dirt off. I'm only washing my car. Karen, what did you say? Fine, how much for a wash? Me, what? Karen, what, can't you hear I said how much? Me, lady, I don't know who you are and frankly, I don't care. I'm only washing my car, if you need your car washed go downtown. Karen, what? Honestly, what is wrong with you kids today? You don't want to work and get money, this ridiculous. She did go into a little tirade that I won't go into, but she then gassed it down towards Main Street. I looks at my neighbor, we both shook our heads and resumed what we were doing. About 3 hours later I was busy playing Call of Duty MW2 when someone rang my doorbell. I stopped COD and went to see who it was and I opened the door and see a guy standing there. GWOL, hi, I'm the guy who owns the lodge. Did a lady ask you if you can wash her car? Me, yes, some lady did and acted like a toddler when I said no. Why? GWOL, the lady was complaining that the guy over was rude and didn't want to help her. If you see her, just ignore her, I'm not gonna let them stay here anymore. The husband is nice, but she's a piece of work. Me, okay, but just out of curiosity, there's a lodge over there? GWO laughs and says, yeah, we only do it over the summer and about 3 weeks during the winter. So in one day I learned Karens can come at you anywhere and anytime, and I live about 2 blocks from a lodge. A very interesting day. You had a chance to go how much? $10. No, $10,000, no refunds or reclamations, payable in advance. I should've, but after working 10 hours I wasn't thinking, but if it happens again I will. At that price you better make sure to do a thorough job. Don't forget to power wash under the hood and every corner of the interior. I honestly would have sprayed her with the hose. Spraying your power washer in the open window after you said no and she continued acting like a harpy would have been fully acceptable. That would have been awesome, but I have too much respect for cars to do that. Even if it's owned by a Karen. It's kind of funny how they react when you say no. You would think they had never heard it before. True, but you can't use logic on a Karen. Years of retail taught me that. I would have demanded $1,000 cash and waited to see her respond. I do some occasional contract work. Usually technical documents or electronic design and review. As soon as I hear how much, I automatically quote my contractor rate. $110/hour, 4-hour minimum. When people say, hey, let's go up north or go to the cabin, I live there. It's summer and they're here, all the tourists and the Karens. The county's community page has gotten fun. They ask the most ridiculous things like complaining about bugs. They came here to be by the lake and they complain about bugs. Summers are so fun, lol. I would have said sure, and then when she got out, pressure washed the shit out of the inside of her car, then told her to have a nice day. Kids these days don't want to be my slaves. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.